In Matthew 27:11-14, Jesus stands bound before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea. Despite false accusations, he remains silent, fulfilling Isaiah 53:7's prophecy of the suffering servant. Pilate, unnerved by his calm authority, asks, "Do you not hear how many things they testify against you?" Jesus' silence reveals divine sovereignty over human injustice. Historically, Roman trials demanded self-defense, making his refusal unprecedented. This moment challenges believers. Do we trust God's plan, even when misunderstood? Caiaphas, the high priest, demands Jesus answer charges of blasphemy, Matthew 26:63. Yet Jesus remains silent, frustrating the Sanhedrin. Jewish law required 2 witnesses for conviction, but false testimonies conflicted. His silence exposes their hypocrisy. Historically, high priests wore breastplates with 12 gemstones representing Israel's tribes, symbolizing justice Jesus now embodies. His refusal to engage mirrors Proverbs 26:4. Do not answer a fool according to his folly. When Caiaphas tears his robe, a forbidden act for priests, it ironically signifies God's coming judgment on the corrupt temple system. Mark 15:6-15 describes the crowd's shocking choice: the violent insurrectionist Barabbas over the innocent Jesus. Roman records show Pilate likely held this public vote to prevent Passover riots. The name Barabbas means son of the Father, contrasting Jesus as the true Son of God. Historically, crucifixion was reserved for slaves and rebels, Rome's brutal warning against dissent. Jesus' silence during the mob's roar fulfills Psalm 38:13-14. I am like a deaf man who does not hear. This scene asks, do we prioritize convenience over truth when pressured by crowds? John 19:1 details Jesus' scourging, a punishment often fatal itself. Roman flagrums had bone fragments that tore flesh. Historian Josephus recorded victims' bones becoming visible. Yet Jesus uttered no curse, 1 Peter 2:23. Archaeologists found a 1st century scourging post in Jerusalem, its stones stained with blood. The silence here fulfills Isaiah 56. I gave my back to those who struck me. Medical studies suggest scourging caused hypovolemic shock, making his later cross-carrying miraculous. This asks, can we endure unjust pain without retaliation? Matthew 27:29 describes soldiers twisting thorn branches into a crown, likely from the Ziziphus spina Christi shrub, whose 2-inch thorns pierce deeply. Purple dye, symbolizing royalty, came from expensive murex shells, making the mockery costlier than realized. Jesus' silence fulfills Zechariah 9:9's prophecy of a humble king. Historically, Roman mock coronations involved prisoners impersonating kings before execution. The silence here contrasts the soldiers' laughter, inviting reflection. Do we mock or reverence Christ's true kingship? Luke 23:26 mentions Simon of Cyrene, a North African Jew, forced to carry Jesus' crossbeam, patibulum. Weighing 30-40 kilograms, it was normally carried by the condemned. Archaeological finds show crucifixion victims carried only the horizontal beam. Simon's sons later became known in the early church, Mark 15:21, suggesting this encounter transformed him. Jesus' weakened state confirms medical historians' views that scourging caused severe blood loss. His silence models Isaiah 53:12, he was numbered with the transgressors. This asks, are we willing to bear others' burdens unexpectedly? John 20:25 references nails in Jesus' hands, likely driven between the radius and ulna bones, as discovered in a 1st century crucifixion victim named Yehohanan. The silence during nailing fulfills Psalm 22:16. They pierced my hands and feet. Medical studies show nail trauma would sever the median nerve, causing excruciating lightning-like pain. Yet Jesus prays for his executioners, Luke 23:34. The hammer's sound would have echoed across Golgotha, a hill near a major road where Rome displayed rebels. This challenges, do we forgive those nailing us? Matthew 27:39-44 records mockery from religious leaders, soldiers, and even a crucified criminal. The charge, King of the Jews, written in Latin, Greek, Hebrew, ironically proclaimed his universal lordship. Jesus' response, forgiveness and promise of paradise, Luke 23:43, contrasts human cruelty. Historically, crucifixion victims were stripped naked to maximize shame, though art often overlooks this. The silence amid taunts fulfills Lamentations 3:30. Let him give his cheek to the one who strikes him. This asks, how do we respond when faith is ridiculed? John 19:30 captures Jesus' last words, "It is finished," a single Greek word, telesta, used also on paid invoices. His death at 3 p.m. coincided with Passover lambs being slain. Historians note crucifixion victims typically suffocated after days, but Jesus died unusually quickly, suggesting his life wasn't taken but given. John 10:18. The temple veils tearing, Matthew 27:51, signified access to God now open to all. A centurion's confession, "Truly this was the Son of God," marks Rome's first acknowledgement of Christ. This proclaims, salvation is accomplished. Hebrews 10 verse 19-20 explains the torn temple veil, 60 feet tall, as thick as a man's hand, symbolized Christ's flesh opening God's presence. The Holy of Holies, entered only by the high priest annually, now stood exposed. Jewish historian Josephus recorded the veil's magnificence, embroidered with celestial symbols. Its tearing from top down indicated divine action. Archaeologists found a first-century warning inscription to Gentiles, "No foreigner may enter." Jesus' silent death shattered that barrier. This declares, "Approach God boldly, for the silent Lamb has spoken eternally."